When niggas is CLD, won't even get pulled over in they new V. The good life, let's go on a living spree. Shit, they say the best things in life are free. The good life, it feel like Atlanta, it feel like LA, it feel like Miami, it feel like NY.
What the fuck is
Summertime
going
shy.
on? Today is September 23rd.
So I rode the good.
We're going to be going over
I popped the hood.
the pre-markets of the day as well as the open markets. We're going to start from top down with BDTX. Coming into this week, we were personally on vacation, so trying to catch up was a little difficult for the past week and a half. What we did notice was that stocks were kind of all over the place when it came to price range and what went. For me, the biggest thing was a couple things we saw were, one, stocks breaking the downtrend in pre-market were pretty good. Stocks opening near the high of days tended to kind of pop and fade the whole day. So with that knowledge, with BDTX, we figured maybe it could break this kind of downtrend, clear downtrend, maybe push, but this thing was fading it got to here. To me, this is almost like a round trip. Like if it stopped here and then kind of went flat, could have done something. One thing to note, it did kind of bounce off of this 200, even though it literally broke below so to me, seeing all these red candles in a row, pretty much out on it. It did run into VWAP there and fail. There's really no trades that I personally would have taken here, and there's nothing to really learn from this. You have this little flag here near the breakout, you could say, over the 200. Volume wise, pretty trash. Like right here, if I'm adding there's what, 33,000 shares. Yeah, overall this is kind of a dud. Cavill, this was a last second jumper. 8:30 news. Was it 8:30? No, 9 o'clock news. So to me, this one also running from pennies to the dollar land, going to be a halt stock, which it did. I stayed away early. It hit this gap level at 160 and then proceeded to halt down, held this. Old me probably would have taken a lot of shares or done something here. Most likely I wouldn't have been able to put a stop here. This could have went straight down more, ended up going back. We've seen this U pattern, but this has been happening on stocks that open not at high day. So to me, we usually have this high day break and fade. We've seen this pattern a lot of last week, so I kind of just stayed away. At this point, once it halts, really no other position, halts again. Here we have this little double bottom flag. I was a little hesitant. I actually got some here, scalped a little bit, but overall, just coming back to the market, this was kind of tougher to trade for myself. Have confidence that this would work. It is nice to see that we did get a push here. We do halt and then halt down and then fade. Overall price action here, this was probably the cleanest setup. Was this a halt down? So this was a halt down. So I don't know. Wasn't a really big fan of this price action, but one of the best ones today, which is kind of speaking very loudly saying that. But moving on to Kixin. This one also had a downtrend. The volume was starting to dwindle, which kind of pushed me away from this one, and it just kind of fizzled out. So really nothing here. This one, LGCBTQ, whatever you want to say. This one coming off a long push down. Yeah. Anytime we see stocks like this that are like dead cat bouncing, they'd like never work. In this case, it did not work. So good eye there. Nuke, tactical nuke incoming. This one was another one where we thought maybe if it held and broke this downtrend here, that maybe we can get like a push up to like 40s or something. This thing also showed no volume and then just did nothing, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the day decided to run, break the downtrend, and then hit VWAP and fade. One of the things we're going to go over in a second is a lot of things use VWAP as a blocker for bullish momentum. So just it's good to see that because it's clear as day if something's going to be bullish or bearish. NVVE actually ran middle of the week last week. Ran on Wednesday. So this one was very intriguing. A lot of the times, the past couple of months, anything that runs and then there's a couple days that go by, T+2, T+3, whatever, breaks the previous high, tends to be kind of strong or can be strong. So I was actually very interested in this ticker itself. It was flat going into open. It wasn't technically at high days. I thought about taking it there. I didn't, just because it's the first candle. I like to wait a little bit. It already took off, and I think I took some here for this kind of like double bottom flat. Got some off here. There was a key level there. I was hoping we would get a push to 10s maybe. She ended up just falling over flat in her face and then fading the rest of the day. This is a typical what a multi-day usually looks like, where it kind of goes up and just rolls over and dies. So just noting to self, I think this market right now is kind of weird. It was hot in pre-market last week, and now open markets, yeah, actually kind of pretty shit actually. SGN ran on Friday and didn't do anything, ran into VWAP and faded again. Late day push there, but I'm not too worried about it. TGL, this one was also a penny running into the dollar land. So that's two today that ran into this range. I fucking hate this type of price action. This is like the halts, penny, you can't add a stop, the shit moves fucking 30,000% in 1 second and you can't do anything about it. To me, this kind of shit is more gambling for my kind of liking. Predictability sure is there. We do have this uptrend that I like to see. This is probably the most predictable pattern we've had in the past couple of weeks, where we get pushed down, we add into this. This is like the step higher. Hoping or not hoping, but see, this halted down. I think this is why today we struggled, just because things like this, this price range, this halt shit, not a big fan, but it did hold. Hindsight, it's like, yeah, this could be the second pivot, but you don't know, and it ends up pushing not another. So once it did hold this, I was hoping that this would actually come down further. This candle blew up, and then open halt, this thing was crazy. Could have added here, should have added here. This is probably the best ads of the day as far as being consistent. You have 2 points already. You have this key level. It didn't really break out as quickly as I wanted it to, but it adds here again. This part, to me, we've also studied that when we break this uptrend, that it tends to just fade into oblivion. It was like 90+% of the time. So once it broke this, I just stopped looking at it. And was it a mistake? I don't really know. I thought maybe it'd pop here and fade again. It actually dipped and ripped and then faded. So whatever. This price action, It's all right. I hate it though. I think it's fucking dog shit. But this was the second breadwinner of the day. Whatever. VTYX. This one I thought maybe it could have potential if it got the volume. It kind of got there. This like kind of slow grind down I liked a lot, but then it just rolled over at a VWAP. So again, we're going to watch for VWAP traps. Kind of ignore that. So if we look at TGL, she was over VWAP for the majority of the time. And then kicks in. No, Cavill. Cavill was also pretty much over VWAP. So let's kind of a critical point there is it's got to kind of be over VWAP, at least this day was. And then X-Bond ran on Friday and then did not do anything today. VWAP, slam, VWAP, slam. So with that being said, let's jump over to the PowerPoints and quickly run through. Get the fuck out of here, bud. Let's run through the patterns with my fucking laser pointer. Downtrend, uptrend, we saw this all of last week. Here are the points. You know, you could argue this one in previous weeks we have added, but this week we were a little hesitant going into it. But here's a good point to add. Another point to add. Dip to key levels. So this one was a gap fill level. So cutting a couple points there that held. Another gap fill level. Nice to see. Double bottom flag. Not as clean as I would love it to be, but you know, we have this pull, dip here, dip here. Nice little adds. This one was with a halt. So again, choppy as fuck, but still a double bottom flag. Morning U pattern with halts. The more I look at this day, the more garbage it gets. Still glad there's some bullish action, but still pretty fucking terrible. We're looking at the bearish ones. So we have a couple here. This is another, the top of the gap fill. So just be careful when we're looking at key levels and we're pushing up against them. We have the open bell fade. If it just continues to fade, just kind of get rid of it. VWAP fail. We saw a lot of this today, so we'll keep that on notes. For the multi-days, VWAP fail was also there. We have one here too that we just didn't mark. The up-down pattern, just if it starts to roll over as a multi-day runner, we're just going to get rid of it. And also key level fail. So with that being said, we're about 13 minutes in. Overall day was, as far as clean setups go, I'm going to give her probably a 3 out of 10. There were a couple flags, a couple uptrends, but man, this price action with halts, just not, anything with halts is just not clean. You can make a lot of money. You can also fucking lose your shit. So whatever. Tomorrow we will look for kind of these dips and then these uptrend ticks like TGL had. And also anything over VWAP, we're kind of going to be looking for that as well. But a little more aggressive into the dips, and if they fail, they fail. But it is what it is. I'm excited for tomorrow. I think we're going to get a banger trade. Okay, bye.